I know we've all experienced it. An instant as soon as we load into the game. People with a huge ego unwilling to compromise for the team. Usually the most toxic people in the lobby and not willing to take fault for their actions. These people are a problem in Marvel Rivals. Today I'm going to examine and find out what role has the biggest ego, is the most toxic, and who has a superiority complex. This is my opinion, but let me know if you agree. Or if you disagree, let me know why. Please do me a favor by supporting the channel and leaving a like, commenting, and subscribing. What is ego? The definition of ego is a sense of someone's own worth. Usually if they have a huge ego, they believe that they're the most important person ever. What is toxic? The definition of toxic is someone who regularly displays actions and behaviors that hurt others to bring them down. Superiority complex. The definition of superiority complex is a belief that your abilities or accomplishments are somehow dramatically better than another person. And I'd say that all of the roles fit into each one of these categories. However, some of them fit better than others. And it really could be interchangeable with all of the roles. It really just depends on the situation, and they can all fit vice versa. And I really think that people act like this because of the scoreboard. They're very number dependent, and when they don't see someone like popping off, they instantly start blaming them. I know a lot of you heard of insta-locking and instantly thought of DPS, so let's go ahead and dive right into it. DPS is a role that's not necessarily hard to play, but if you're doing subpar, you're really impacting your team. But if you're doing really good, your team will not acknowledge you. However, a lot of people who play this role are flawed and don't see that they're the problem. They could be going negative and not see that they need a switch. Most of the time, very egotistical and hates taking orders from anyone. It should be said that not everyone is going to be performing at top-notch level all the time. Sometimes you have good games, sometimes you have bad games. However, DPS players are stubborn to switch things up because they don't see themselves as the problem. And if it's getting really bad, they resort to using slurs and insults. I'd say they're the most toxic out of all of the roles. And this is an opinion I think everyone will agree with because we've all experienced it. A toxic DPS just bringing down others. They also will be the first to give up if something's not working in the game. Tanks are harder ranked because it's really split 50-50 because a lot of them feel very superior because they're playing tank and they believe that all focus should be on them. Like heals are only allowed to be looking at them and no one else, and to an extent it's true because they're the most valuable of keeping the front line for the team. However, they do think they're unkillable because of their HP, and when they die they instantly blame their supports for their positioning. Their ego is very high as they hold themselves higher because they're playing a role that not many people want to play. And when they do a lot of damage as well, they start frying the DPS on their team for not doing a lot of damage. And because of that, I feel like tanks have the biggest egos. Okay, now I'm going to say this as best as I can, but I know it's going to trigger a lot of people. Support players are by far the most superiority complex people I've ever encountered. Because they believe they're never in the wrong. No matter what play they do, terrible positioning, anything, it's not their fault. And then they act like they've been branded for life to play support, like if someone is holding them at gunpoint to play support. And because of that, they feel like they're better than everyone because they're on support, and they're immediately free from criticism. And if you so happen to lose with them, they blame everyone but themselves. And because they see that they did a lot of healing, they give themselves a pat on the back for all the heals, when in reality, that isn't what classifies you as the MVP of the match. It's other stuff that isn't taken into place, like did you use your ult to stop one of the DPS's ults? Like it's little stuff like that that makes supports carry the game, not boosted numbers that you just got by heal botting. People see those numbers and their ego is instantly inflated. Like just the other day, I had this rocket on my team complain about everything, and then he said that he was carrying with the heals. However, he was just throwing his heals at our tanks, and then he would complain about the DPS not getting picks. However, when the DPS were starting to get picks, he just decided to ignore the fact that the DPS are starting to get kills. He just decided to blame them anyways. And I've seen that go around a lot. I had this Penny Parker once just get mad at the DPS for not getting picks when she was intentionally feeding the enemies. And when his buddy that was playing a tank with him switched to DPS, he was praising him like he was Shroud's reincarnate. When the enemy team Iron Man was ulting, I was Hawkeye and I killed Iron Man. And then he just decides to ignore the fact that my icon was on the kill feed. No, he decided to be like, good shit Punisher, man, you're the fucking GOAT. And bro did no damage to him. Alright, enough with me rambling. I would have to say that the support players have the biggest superiority complex I've ever seen. Let me know if you agree with the way I rank the roles. I know they can be interchangeable, but let me know how you would rank it and some stories that you've come across to shape your perspective. Thank you for making it this far. I hope you enjoyed. Please consider leaving a like, subscribing to help out the channel. Peace out.